Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, they had the perfect combination.
It doesn't matter how old he gets, he's still going to be scoring 20-plus goals a season.
Yeah. Yeah, a good striker in the Premier League.
That's all you need, man.
That'll keep you put you in a good position.
Why is that?
Because scoring goals is the most important thing. You can have a group or a defensive
Just be careful
core.
with your elbows. We try not to lean on the table as much as possible. Yeah, sorry, go on.
If you can have a good defense by really good coaching and really good training and some solid players. But there's something about scoring goals where it's you need to have a really good goal scorer who can finish his opportunities if he only has a couple of chances a game. That's why they get paid the most. That's why they're so valuable.
So do you think when you build a team, you base your team off a big striker? Or because I look at it as I would like a really nice defender, nice centre back. Someone like Varane. When they went to get Varane in for Man United this season, I feel like if you can base your team around someone like that who's been around the place, he's played for Real Madrid for a good 8 or 9 years, and he's won trophies upon trophies, careless amount of trophies. If you have someone like that who's got that experience and can lead the pack at the front, do you feel like that would be the best way to start it?
I think honestly, you need a leader in every part of the pitch. So if you have that defender, usually captains of really good teams, a centre back or a centre mid, they can see the whole. They can see the whole game. If you're a defender, you can dictate. You're yelling at everyone, telling them where they should be.
That's the same as a goalkeeper as well. Any decent goalkeeper like Alisson, who I think he signed another contract extension to 2027. He's leading from the back, much like your lead centre backs doing the same sort of thing, just making sure everyone's in line. Just getting everyone to the right place at the right time.
Yeah, definitely something to that.
Remember how we had that conversation with Lizzie and she was talking about the sound tech giving her good comments on the jokes and good lines that would hit?
Right.
It's sort of like the goalkeeper can see the game strategy the best just from taking that backseat approach.
That's what you want you want a vocal goalkeeper because they do see everything and they're not running around as much. They don't need to exert as much energy, so they can just watch and dictate. But you need someone in every part of the pitch. You need a leader everywhere. And at the front, they don't need to be a leader, but they need to score goals. This is why they get paid the most.
Now, welcome back to the show. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification, smash that shit. Messi's leaving. I don't know. Is there more to say?
Boom. No, so it was very interesting because they didn't think that was going to happen in Camp Nou. Oh, surely they knew. Surely.
I think because the past year he's been saying he wants to leave. He wanted to leave last season, but they just wouldn't let him go. They're like, no, we're not selling you. We know we don't want you because you're too expensive, but we're not selling you.
Do you honestly think it was them, or do you think it's social media just playing their big game? Because clickbait is a massive thing on social media. You see someone, especially there's a photo of a well-known player, say Messi, and then maybe an upcoming young Barcelona.
So you don't reckon Messi wanted to leave back 12 months ago?
I don't know. I think he did. But I think the as you were saying with the board of Barcelona, how you stated that they wanted to stay, I feel like they had that idea that they didn't have they were going to have financial difficulties, especially bringing how can you bring in, who do they bring in this season? They brought in Mathis Depay, and they brought in Sergio Aguero.
Yeah, right.
How do they have the financial capacity to bring those guys in, but not enough money to spend on Messi?
This is why I think he had made the decision. I'm not re-signing with you guys.
True.
I'm not signing that contract. Maybe if there was a number they could hit, but they weren't willing to hit that number. Probably what he's been making, because I imagine they wanted him to take a pay cut so they could bring in some more depth because they needed to. And
what, Messi's gone, fuck you. You've just paid Aguero. And some other fuckwit.
Well, he loves Aguero. Well, they're meant to be really close.
Okay. Interesting enough, Sergio Aguero wants out of the club now because he.
I want to play with Messi.
Well, that was a part of the deal. You get to play with Messi for however long he wants to stay around. He's like, shit, yeah. I mean, he's bloody wiping his hands clean, going, this is the best deal of my life. I've come from Man City. I've won all these mad trophies. I've won Champions League, this and that, and now I'm coming to this amazing club, and Messi wants to stay, and shit, yeah, I get to play alongside him.
Messi just sorry, bro.
2 weeks later.
Yeah. Those 2 training sessions were amazing, bro, but I got to go.
So they haven't played yet? Haven't played yet.
I think it's pre-season still, so they might have maybe they've had friendlies. I don't think Messi's done anything. He probably wouldn't have come back to training or anything if he knew he was going. He'd be on a holiday.
And going on with Messi, how do you think they actually value him? Because I saw that they valued him about £75 million. How do you value someone? like how do you base it off someone's performance from previous seasons, or base it off what they could bring?
Yeah, what's the
in
player
terms
worth?
of merchandising for the company, for the club itself?
Yeah, basically our companies now, but so they are businesses. But it's a combination of that plus age and potential in the future.
Yeah.
I think age is huge because Mbappe would be worth a lot more than Messi at the moment.
wow.
Although, yeah,
Really?
definitely,
100%,
definitely.
100%.
Although Messi would probably immediately bring in more jersey sales and stuff.
Is Ronaldo the same? Mbappe would be worth more
Yeah,
than Ronaldo.
yeah,
definitely.
In terms of the transfer market, because Messi, Ronaldo, they're like
They're old.
34, 35
They're getting on.
respectively.
They're getting on.
They have, at the top, a couple years left. Years left at the pinnacle. If they're already probably physically starting to come down a
But
little
then
bit.
again, I was watching the Olympics. I was watching Brazil in the final.
Yep.
And Dani Alves is still playing. And he's what, 39, he's going 40,
Yeah.
and he's just won gold. Oh, I think to some degree, age is just a number, and I think it does come down to the preseason training, your headspace, your mental headspace. If you really have that capacity to push through and want more.
And that's why I think Messi probably doesn't at Barcelona anymore. There's something about being at Barcelona where he's not as motivated as he was for the past 17
And I
years.
agree with you,
He
yeah.
wants a new challenge. He's seen Ronaldo go
Tom
to
Brady.
3 different clubs, win 3 different... Like, that's different. He's experiencing new things.
Is
I'm doing the same
Messi
shit.
the Tom Brady then of soccer?
It kind of is,
He's
eh?
pretty much
End of his-
solidified
I
his
would agree,
legacy.
yeah.
End of his career,
Yeah.
yep. Swap teams. Could go to PSG if that's where he ends up. Man City could win the Champions League there for sure. Like,
I don't
It's a
think
good
I
analogy.
don't think he'll end up at a low tier team though, like a Tom Brady. You know, because he went to the Buccaneers.
the
True, yeah,
Buccaneers who
Tampa Bay
didn't have
Bucks.
much of a history.
Yeah. But I do feel like he has the capability of turning a team around to getting back into that top 2 or top 4.
So,
Oh, yeah,
so
he's big
Messi's
still.
looking at, is it PSG?
I'm pretty sure PSG
I reckon-
is
I reckon
at the
he's
top,
done. He's
and then
done.
maybe Manchester City, but I don't think so.
And PSG are pretty stacked already, aren't they?
PSG are stacked. And they got
Yeah.
that like oil money, just throwing money at everyone. they do. They got these rich. Can't remember rich Saudi
Probably
Arabian
like-
prince or something
Or
who bought them
automobile
in.
makers or
It
something.
was either oil like an Arabian prince. They bought the club a few years ago and have just been throwing money
shares
at
and
it.
minerals and
Yeah.
gold.
Throwing money, hoping something.
So who's the
interesting.
PSG? Neymar?
Neymar, Mbappe,
Oh, fuck
probably
me.
Messi.
And-
Angel Di Maria. They
and-
have a stacked team. They
Well,
have really good
they
players.
just recently signed Donnarumma, goalkeeper.
Very good goalkeeper.
Very good goalkeeper. He's the Italian goalkeeper
Yes.
now. He just took over from
Buffon.
Sir Buffon.
Yeah, and won the Euros. Like,
Yeah,
Legit.
yeah, and then they bought Sergio Ramos from Real Madrid, Wijnaldum
These
from
are all at
Liverpool,
PSG.
yeah.
and then you got Angel Di Maria, who'll probably be on the bench.
Either on the bench or like they'll be playing 4 people up front. They don't care.
Yeah.
Like they can do that. It's
Yeah, and then you got Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar.
it's ridiculous. That front 3, it's insane.
But then it comes back to salary cap. How is this fair?
Because like in the Champions League, which is the European competition, they cap on how much you can spend on players.
Yeah,
But I think it's dictated by how much revenue your club can generate.
spot on.
So if Messi comes in and at PSG, they've got all these big names, they're generating all this revenue anyway. So they'll probably still be under the salary cap having 5 players on over 200,000 euros a week. Like,
If you think about it, it's really smart
Crazy.
because Neymar used to play with Messi back at Barcelona,
yeah.
and that's why he's so adamant on getting him to come into the club. His performance level is probably going to go up into to another standard because Neymar has been a bit hot and cold the last few seasons due to injuries. Yeah, he's still good, but he's not at the peak performance that he's been at Barcelona. Bringing in someone like Messi will improve his own performance, and merchandising, finances will go up for Neymar, and so will for Messi.
Yeah.
And if you think of it, it's a smart play because then they can start to bring in even better midfielders, and bloody hell, they set themselves up for the long run.
yeah, it's going to be so hard to beat them. They, for whatever reason, they don't perform the European stage.
Absolutely.
But you bring in Messi, there's like, he's still got it. Even if he's not doing as much of the share, like he's got Mbappe and Neymar.
Is Messi the best ever?
He's definitely in the shout.
In this generation, I believe.
Yeah, it's hard to comment on earlier.
It's hard because I look at it as personality as well. I feel like if you want to be the best ever, you want to be an idol for the people, the younger
I think
kids
he's
going
ticked
up.
that.
And I think
Like
he's ticked that.
That's a tick.
Because I look at Ronaldo and I feel like he's got a bit of a chip on the shoulder. Like you look at his celebration, he does the big jump and the ooh.
He's got like the American show business side.
and you know what, it's good. Like it'll just generate more money and all that sort of stuff. But if you look at someone like Messi, he's a bit more level-headed. He's a bit more genuine.
Understated.
Takes the time to have a chat to kids, and I feel like, in this generation, he's the best ever.
He's very good. Like I think one of his stats they were talking about. This is just on performance now, but he scored 670 something goals in 720 matches. To give you perspective, like an elite level striker will average a goal every 2 games.
Wow.
Like he's done that, plus chucking about 300 assists.
It's insane.
Like he's ridiculous.
Fuck me.
He's ridiculous.
So that sounds like he could be going for cheap then.
Yeah,
There's just not enough company.
He's literally going for nothing.
There's not enough teams that can pay him.
His transfer fee is going to be nothing because his contract's expired. But yeah, there's 2 or 3 teams, 2 teams probably that can pay his wages.
So he could get in a very tricky spot where he could just be forced to take a pay cut because
he's going to choose where he goes.
Yeah, but
if there's not that many choices and someone like was it Man City you said can't afford to pay him.
Yeah, he won't go there.
Then you're down to 2 options.
I don't think PSG can't afford it. There are players he's played with at PSG. He'll want to go.
I feel like even if he does take a pay cut at Man City, he's got that good relationship with Pep Guardiola because he used to coach him at Barcelona. So that would come into play. But I think the relationship he has with Neymar is next to no, and I think that will overplay everything else.
Yeah, there's no problem. They're the 2 teams we would think he would want to go to anyway. Like there's connections from past years. Like they're the 2. They're the 2 that can afford him and the 2 he would probably want to play for.
But you know what I mean? Like he could be negotiated down on price if there's having only 3 options. One of them says no, we can't afford you. Like it could just be a bidding war to get the lowest price. Like
I get what you're saying, but I don't think so. I think there's way too much to gain to get Messi. Yeah,
I think the people forget is you look at. And I you're going to hate the fact that I'm going to use Timo Werner as an example. He was killing it in the Germans Bundesliga. He was leading goal scorer for the last couple of seasons.
He was dominant. Yeah.
Yeah, coming to Chelsea, he lost his way a bit, and credit to him, he didn't give up. He was still assisting, but EPL is completely different to Bundesliga. And like you said, you've got to give him another season just to try and see if he can kind of perfect some of the things that he wasn't doing too well at. But if you look at someone like Messi. If you brought him into Man City, if you brought him into PSG, if you brought him to any club, for example, people forget that he has so much self-affirmation about himself, that he is so confident that he doesn't give a shit where he goes. He knows he'll perform. He doesn't, he hits 37, 38. He still knows that he'll score 20, 30 goals. If it's out in front of him, he'll give it his crack.
Yep.
And that's why you see big players like Ronaldo, Messi, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who was killing it in the MLS and now going to AC Milan, and he's killing AC Milan and he's almost 40.
Yeah,
because they are so, they might come across as big-headed, but they are so confident with themselves and their ability that age in itself is just a number to them.
Well, that was like Michael Jordan in The Last Dance. Like Michael Jordan towards the end of his career wasn't as skilled as some of the other guys in the league, but he knew how to win, and his team knew how to win. And I think that's why, like, the late Chicago Bulls were still good, very fucking good, because they'd figured it out. And there was inter-team dramas where they hated the general manager and the issues with other players. Yep. Michael Jordan even punched, I think, Steve Kerr, one of his teammates. No,
I don't remember.
Why wouldn't you, Michael Jordan?
Yeah, but, like, there were that many issues, but they just had success down to a recipe that even with all this other shit going on, they could still execute when it was required.
Yeah, and to go on one more, Tom Brady is also another level. Like, it's the same kind of thing where he's gone over the hump in terms of his physical abilities.
Oh,
he can't throw as good as he used to. He can't throw as good
Cliff
as a Patrick Mahomes. But everything he's learnt in the game and everything he brings and how he lifts everyone up around them, that's the effect that Messi's going to have. He's going to bring that whole team to his level. And perform.
At the Olympics, Kevin Durant, the whole of Team USA, they just won gold.
Insane.
You see the same thing repeating. It's this experience with that being elite. Yeah, self-confidence, everything.
I was going to say, you should bring up a photo of Tom Brady when he's going through the draft versus your modern day draftee.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because he has no physique whatsoever.
None.
And it's funny because he challenges the stereotypical NFL player. He doesn't do hardly... I think he states that he doesn't do any weights. He does body weight exercises. And the man is an absolute machine. He doesn't look like he's going to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, there's
He's the
something-
biggest dad bod.
Look at
I mean,
that.
like, he's such a noob. Like,
He's the goat.
like fix my computer.
The goat.
The
Sure
goat
that's not-
right there. That's
You
the
sure that's
goat's
not,
physique.
sure that's not a virus, mate?
Yeah.
It's impressive. Like he knows what he needs for his position.
But it's good because it challenges the idea of to become a professional player in anything. Like, you know, at NRL, you look at your standard wingers. They're not like some of your wingers or some of your wingers aren't even that big. It's just the pace and the confidence in themselves that they can do. That they get the job done.
Ability to take
Yeah.
a hit too. Like it's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
much you
exactly.
can pain threshold. Doesn't have to show. Like you might not be big, but you got to be able to take a hit.
Well, those
That's like him.
we were watching the marathon today, and holy dooly, those guys in the Olympics, like that pain threshold. Eliud Kipchoge, from 30 kilometers to 42 kilometers, everyone else has started to become more defensive in their stride, but he is aggressively pounding the pavement.
Who's this?
Eliud Kipchoge, he's the world record holder at the moment with, I think, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 hours, 1 minute and like 30 seconds. He's gone sub 2 in a non-regulated run.
Yeah.
But one Rio, just one in Tokyo. But he is attacking the pavement still. And from, I think, at around 28 Ks, he picked up the pace. and then the whole...
So he was with the
funny.
group, like
He was-
leading the
at
group.
that point, he's with the lead pack.
Yeah.
And then at 30 kilometers, the commentator, he's just picked it up again. And at that point, he just started to create a
there's
lead.
like-
And no one's gone with him. And he extends this massive lead. And he's running 14 and a half minutes per 5 kilometers.
Just, you know, as soon as you get into that zone, it doesn't matter who's around you. You can just crack into it. And I feel
Yes
like...
and no. Fuck, that's
For
fast.
him,
That's
when you
fast.
go in that zone with that level, it's,
Well, we all hope we can get there.
Yeah.
But I do feel like visualizing is a massive thing. You know, like
Yeah.
I find I'm not a great runner, but when I introduce you to the mega run that we do on Saturday, I've never
You
done
got
it.
to come to that.
Yeah,
the mega run?
mega run, 10K run at Kangaroo Point, mate. I tell you what, just give it a crack. You love it.
I'll give it a crack. I might not love it, but I'll try and give it a
No,
crack.
but
It's early as well. You may not love it at all.
What do you mean? I'm an early briser these days, mate.
6:30 start?
mate. Oh, 6 o'clock. Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
I wake up 6:30 every day.
Oh, well, next
usually.
Saturday.
Come on, mate. Yeah.
On Saturday, mate.
Buddy.
Oh,
And anyone
Saturday.
else who wants to come.
Can't. I'm going to the track next Saturday, but after
Oh,
that.
oh,
yeah.
you're racing?
Yeah.
Wait, what time
it's
are
a
you
day.
going to the track?
It's like 8 o'clock start at the
Oh,
track.
perfect. You'll be able to get there in
No,
time.
I've got to go north side. Hey, look. I said I'd do a marathon. It got cancelled on me, mate. I'll go for a 10K run at some point.
But
I
yeah,
will die.
what I was going at is because I've never been a long distance runner. I've always done short distance. I've always been a 100-meter sprinter. I'm like, fuck, how am I going to do 10Ks? But once you I find visualizing is a massive thing because I sit down and go, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to see myself doing it. I'm going to see myself getting over that bridge, pushing through the pain. Because the worst thing for me is once I hit that stitch, I'm like, shit, I'm done. I'm well done. But there's that pain threshold where you can push through and get over and above that. And once you can get through that, it's smooth snail. And it's just getting into that sort of headspace. As I said, it's easy enough to say it.
Yeah.
But implementing it is the next step. And if you can do that, you can pretty much overcome everything.
That's that self-belief.
Yeah.
When we were leading up to the marathon, we were meant to run that. Got cancelled on us.
We're meant to do the Gold Coast Marathon.
Would you call it a blessing in disguise?
Oh, look, it was definitely, but I had a delusional self-belief that I'd be more than capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And I went for a couple of...
Without training.
I went for like 3 8K runs in the lead up. Very
That
good.
was about 6 weeks before the
Look,
actual
yeah, it
run
was.
as well.
But the fact that my point is, let me make my point. Like
No,
going
fuck you.
going into that, like I hadn't done an 8K run ever in my life.
Yeah.
But then I just went for a run, and your mentality can get you through some things. Because I physically probably was not good enough to do an 8K run consistently. But I was able to do 8K, and I didn't die. So then I gave myself, this is not a good thing, delusional self-belief. Just times that by 7, I can do a marathon.
You accuse me of being a delusional optimist, but
I'm delusionally optimistic about my own ability to do those things.
What are you going to be running around Uluru 10 times this time?
fuck no. Fuck no.
Like, you are a delusional optimist on the next level, but you actually put the work in, and it makes it not as fun. Yeah. If you just wing it, is he going to fail? Is he going to succeed?
Well, Eliud Kipchoge definitely put the work
He
in.
definitely puts
and,
the work
and he,
in.
and he
There's a different
continuously
level.
shows
Yeah,
up.
okay.
But even with the heat in Tokyo, there were a lot of people cramping.
They kept going on about it. It must have been
Yeah.
really bad humidity or whatever. Hey?
But what do we think of the Olympics?
Great.
You
I
enjoyed
remembered
it?
how much I like these sports. I don't
Me
see
too.
them
Oh,
well.
It's funny because do you feel like the Olympics is lacking having those bigger, more franchise sports into the industry?
I think it would ruin it.
Ruin it? Do you feel like it's like a mini game event
Yeah, it's
know
like
what I mean?
these sports won't get highlighted if you then bring in the big franchisees like the best soccer players come to playing in the soccer world. I feel like it would take away.
Because I look at it like the putt version of sports.
Yeah.
Because you're not going for par 3. You know, there'll be like a 100-meter sprint, or there'll be long jump, high jump. But I see them as like mini games sort of thing. You know?
Yeah, I think I agree, but that's like enjoyable to stay like that. Like it's not I'm not watching a World Cup final. I'm not as into it as I would be if it was that. But I'm liking everything, seeing all these things I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Or forget like, oh, that's a really hard thing to do. There's different kind of athletes. You don't need to involve a ball for it to be like athletics.
Yeah, exactly. I think we have that stuck in the
That
back
being
of my
said, artistic gymnastics
Oh.
was next level. But
Oh,
You mean
that
rhythm-
is sexual as fuck.
rhythmic
electro
gymnastics?
bangers going in the background.
Yeah, but they're doing.
Rhythmic. That's rhythmic gymnastics.
Oh,
Artistic is the actual one to do the flips.
Okay, no,
is
rhythmic
weird to me.
gymnastics is sexual as
Unbelievable.
fuck. Like, no, this is no joke. They're throwing balls around
They are throwing balls
and
around.
in these
So it'd
very
be safe
funky
to
positions.
say they would call you tripod after watching
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It
I
was
stand
right-
on 3 legs.
Like we were watching it at work and not much work was getting done, I don't think, when the rhythmic was on.
It was wild. I was like, how can they show this on Channel 7?
Look, they're very flexible, very
Bit of
capable.
Brazzers content.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
Olympics hub. There you go.
yeah.
That's what it felt like for Luke.
Yeah.
Look,
But,
yeah, that was my favourite sport growing up. What do you want from me? I used to love watching that
Really?
with the Olympics.
Okay, I never knew about it.
I had some favourites in the Olympics from back in when I was 16, 17. Look, let's
Are
be
they
honest.
still competing? Or
No, they're not competing.
Competing?
Yeah.
demonstrating, showing,
They're probably a bit too old now, to be honest.
performing?
30 for a gymnast. Oof.
I'm just
Way too
gonna throw it out there, and it might sound a little bit big-headed of me to say this, but do you feel like some sports in particular should be like participants should be awarded a different type of medal per se? Because I'm looking at it as in terms of like someone who does a decathlon, right? 10 different types of sports. Not saying that he should deserve anything more than anyone else, but maybe some sort of individual medal, just saying, shit, yeah, you've actually just achieved 10 sports and managed to get bronze, versus someone who's done a 100-meter sprint, who's worked.
Maloney,
Like,
you're referring to.
I'm not saying that they haven't put the hard yards in, but I'm looking at a level of the amount.
10.
Of, yeah,
Ten's big.
do you know what I mean?
Because when they get paid by the countries for their medals, it's just for the medal, isn't it? It doesn't matter the
Yeah.
event, or is it scaled?
Doesn't matter
by-
the event.
Yeah.
No.
In that regard, I think probably because I was saying at work like the decathlon and the heptathlon, they should be the highlights of the Olympics
Do you know
because they're
what I mean?
literally doing 7 to 10 or 7 or 10 different events.
Because
They
I
are-
saw I don't know if it's the first time they've done this in the Olympics, but I saw they've implemented bouldering into the Olympics, and it was like speed bouldering where they've got a, which is
you see that?
fucking insane.
It's rock climbing.
Oh, rock! Yeah, right.
It's,
Yeah,
the, one,
they were
it's
like-
the one where you
Yes,
you
yeah.
grab onto the grips, and they're different coloured grips, which are which are different type of difficulty level and stuff like that. But I've seen these guys, and they're doing these time trials where they're flying up, and they've got to hit the red buzzer at the top, which is unbelievable work. You know, the amount of technique and strength conditioning work they put into that. But I compare that to something like a marathon runner, or like someone who's done a 40
They should be ranked.
or a 42-kilometer cycle. Do you see what I mean? Like, there's
I see what you mean. Yeah.
I'm not trying to put them down or anything.
It's
but
easier
do
to
you
do
see
a
there's like
100
level-
meter. It's
slight
so
level
much
difference?
easier to do a 100-meter
You know what I
run
mean?
than it is a 180k cycle. All right, so what's the Olympic event power rankings then?
What is the hardest?
Cycling would be up there. Marathon running would be up there.
I'll
Decathlon
say
has to be
decathlon's
number
one.
one. Decathlon has to be number one.
And it's funny because it doesn't get a lot of viewership.
Yeah, I wonder. I thought the exact same thing because I'm like,
I
they're
think
doing everything.
I think it's because it's hard to follow. Like,
'Cause
do
they're
you know?
10
I don't know how
sports.
the point systems work.
No,
other
I don't
than
know
that you
either.
can
That's
check
a good
up on
point.
it. I think if it was easy to follow,
If it was just one, if you won the event, you get like a same point for every event. Like you come first in that event, you get that 10 points.
and because they're doing the 100-meter event,
Yeah.
but they're not doing it as a part of the 100-meter event, you're not going to
It's
watch
different.
Johan Blake.
Yeah,
and
because we're watching the
Rowan
best.
Browning
Yeah,
we're watching
I
the
get it.
best.
I get it because I mean, obviously, if the points are quite close, then you'd be watching it.
Yeah.
Then you'd be tuning in. But you watch something like hockey, where it was Belgium versus Australia in the finals, and you're on the edge of your feet because you know that if we can get this through the line, that we're going to get gold. I think there's a different comparison level, but I just think the level of difficulty, you know, they would be feeling so shit after.
Yeah, but your body would be destroyed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
The
many different
conditioning- the
energy
conditioning-
systems, from power to
The
speed
conditioning
to
process would be
endurance.
just so much more immense versus someone who's just climbing up and touching the buzzer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all waiting to say.
So what would you rank as the hardest?
I have to say handball for sure.
Handball's the hardest.
I reckon short. And interesting enough, I did notice that Australia didn't represent in handball this year.
What's
Yeah,
going
I
on
don't
there?
know.
I feel like we
Put a
just
team
got to
together.
get Kevin Rudd involved.
Yeah, get him on that one.
I think it translates to European handball. Is it even called European handball, or do
I
we just
don't
call
know.
it that
I think
because
we
we're
call
not
it that,
European
probably.
and we see them play?
How does it work? Is it kings, queens, and
No, it's,
Have you seen it? It's
like
actually
soccer
like
where you throw
futsal.
it.
It's like futsal.
Yeah, it's not on the grid.
I'm thinking the
The
small-
four squares, a
That'd
circle
be
rules.
cool.
Yeah.
Cherry.
Wait, that would be amazing. I would love that. Why not chuck that in the Olympics next one? They're
All right.
chucking everything in.
So what's the-
BMX riding?
True. Actually, there's an article out by the Daily Mail, the best news source in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
The worst.
Whoop.
Yeah. About Keegan, what's his name? Keegan, someone who won the
remember
gold
his name.
medal for Australia
And
in
what
the
was that in?
in the skating.
Oh,
No, the
he's
BMX
18,
yeah.
freestyle or whatever.
No, it was skating.
Is
It was
this?
skating.
Yeah.
We have.
He-
I
yeah.
didn't even realize.
Yeah.
Skating
Yeah,
as well.
it's
I
a
forgot
part of
about
it
that.
now.
He's 18 years old, and I said, because they were all hugging each other. He was hugging the American dudes, like everyone from each country, Brazil. It was really cool to see because they're cheering each other on as they're topping each other on some fucking 360-degree around the back, upside down front flips type shit.
Doggy style type.
Yeah. But I'm like,
Side pub.
these guys must all be living in a shack in fucking California, smoking weed, skating, and fucking like 24 hours a day. And that's literally what this article said. He's got this very attractive girlfriend, and he just lives in California with all these other skaters.
And he's got a very strong American accent too. I was like, he's Australian? All right, we'll
Yeah.
take it. We'll take the goal.
I'll take the fucking goal.
Well, and you listen to the way he prepared himself for the Olympic Games versus someone who's done a marathon run. He's like, yeah, I just kind of learned a few tips and tricks, bro. Like I was just chilling out, doing my thing. Like it's just it's so different.
Taught myself on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Bit of vlogging here and there.
Yeah.
100K for gold, thank you. Or what is 20K for us?
20K in Australia. But yeah, it's like they just pick it up. And failing's one of those things. Skating's probably one of those things that you learn from injury as well.
Oh, you
It's
can't
like,
learn,
oh,
you can't learn any other way.
That broke my elbow. Let's not do it that way again.
It's kind of they earned it then. Like they're probably getting the most
Fully sick,
impact
bro.
injuries of just like breaking and fracturing bones.
But they
trying
love
to
talking about
kickflip.
this sort of stuff. Like I went down this hill, gone 110 k's, bro. Just jumped up and broke my arm. Like they love it.
It's very X Games, which is
Yeah.
where it all came from. But it's like, do we think that's part of the Olympics then? Should that be part of the Olympics?
X Games.
I like seeing it though.
Like those extreme sports, we get more of them in. Because you go to the Winter Olympics and you have like the half pipes that are going down at like ridiculous speeds on a snowboard. And like, that's
Are we
X
talking
Games.
full Johnny Knoxville?
Jackass is an Olympic event.
That'll be coming out soon as well.
The new-
Jackass 4.
I did see that.
Is it? Do I care? I don't think I care at all. Like, it's all been done. Is it that?
Is it
gonna
any
be that
different? Is
crazy?
it any different?
2021. That's all it says.
Like,
I don't
is
know
he
the
still
release
doing
date.
it?
Yeah, Steve-O's in it. I actually was watching a YouTube
I
video.
thought he was a comedian now. I thought he stopped this.
He's got a podcast.
Yeah.
It's the Ride Along Bus or something. It's,
He's
I
the
think
he's the
it's a
bloke
moth
with the
on
funny buck teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's a good comedian too. Like, he's
he?
actually out there doing shows. Yeah.
His podcast, it's like a mock of the Bang Bus, where they're on a bus, and he had Steve Will Do It on from the Milk Boys, and in a video that they did, he had a poo cannon to the face,
Yeah,
it ruptured his eardrum. He got shit, like it was shit, stuck in his ear and had to go to hospital for it. So he's legit.
They know him. They know
He's
him.
legit.
Like,
Shit.
he's got a
Shit.
VIP card at the hospital because he's there all the time. But like,
Oh yeah.
he lit himself on fire on stage during a comedy set, I think, as well. Like, this guy just fucking.
And these Nelk boys, they're the guys that they go to the frat parties.
Yes,
and,
yeah, they do wild shit pranks.
Or they're the ones that depict America to be the big
Yes.
frat party lifestyle, big boobs and ass and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, they love it. I love it.
I wish it was a reality.
I don't
Can't
know.
speak on it. I was like 4 when I went to America. So
No, I think what the movie show is pretty accurate.
really,
right,
the
yeah.
college lifestyle. Well, you went to college.
Personal
there.
experience.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Tend to share.
Oh no, like just the parties is fucking insane. I'll pull up it's on my phone. This video of one of my mates jumping off a balcony and just getting caught in the crowd. Have I shown you that video?
I can't
What?
remember.
Yeah.
We've talked about like
And this is
the college experience.
This is the size of a crack house and the insides of a frat house and the backyard is full, the front yard is full, the streets not full, but like people in the street, and then there was like this for this one particular party, there was this house at the back.
Yeah.
And my mate climbed up onto the balcony of this other, like, it was almost like a big townhouse sort of granny flat. And just screams out, "I'm fucking jumping!"
What? So
then-
it's like
and everyone just-
so it's like full Bad Neighbors with Zach. You know the Bad Neighbors movie with Zac
seen it.
Efron.
Don't ask him about movies.
So it's like
He's
that.
never seen a movie.
Here's a good topic to go over. How do you actually get into a frat party?
difficult. That wasn't a frat party.
Really?
Yes.
Like you have to be.
You can't just turn
If you're a
up.
hot chick,
No,
you get straight
God.
in. If you're a guy,
So frat parties
Right.
is free drinks and paid entry, but free drinks and free entry if you got boobs.
yep.
As a guy getting into a frat party, you're sort of no chance unless you're a brother, which is a member of the frat, because that's sort of the point of the frat party, to invite girls in and not let any other guys in other than like
to
our
reduce the
mates.
The
fact
boys.
to reduce the chance of there being a
Competition.
sausage fest.
Exactly. You can't
Yeah.
have competition. So the ratio at frat parties is like insane. It's like probably 5-1. Like
Yeah.
3 to 5-1, I would say, yeah.
So you got a high chance of success.
Oh yeah. But because I was obviously an exchange student, getting in as an exchange student because it's an interest factor. It's very,
An
very
Aussie?
because you're even more competition.
You'd
If
surely,
you're-
you'd surely have to know the right people.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're an athlete or if you're a exchange student, getting into a frat party is even harder.
Because they're like, well,
Because
everyone
you're-
wants the athlete,
yeah.
everyone wants the exchange guy.
Exactly.
Oh.
Everyone wants to play the guy that
The
fuck the guy that
politics.
plays ball.
Oh,
or
I
the-
see.
or the
I see
Aussie.
what you mean. People turn up going, "I'm from
Yeah.
here. I'm from there. I play
I'm in the
for this
football team.
club."
Nah, mate. Go,
Yeah.
go.
So you're not getting in, and tickets to a frat party for a guy is like $70 at some, like at
I mean,
a
that's
good
not
frat.
that crazy. $70.
It's a bit hard.
Do you-
People
like
pay to go to
do you-
clubs here at the moment, don't they?
Do you think it's worth paying the $70?
some parties are, some aren't.
Because you're saying that the ratio is
Yeah,
good.
free drinks.
The ratio is good, but the vibe itself is it worthwhile?
What is the vibe?
Yeah, what is the frat vibe?
Each party's different. It's so hard to put. But like that being said, I've been to some great free parties. Like
There's just a party culture.
why
That's the
saying
true party
paying
culture.
$70 for a frat party can be hard to justify because there are clubs in America where you go there and it's $5. They give you a cup and it's all you can drink
Yeah.
for the whole night.
Wow.
So, like doing that, like that's pretty bloody good. Or you can go to just parties that aren't organized by a fraternity, and you can show up there and it might be $10 all you can drink, and they just provide booze. So like these parties are good too.
Yeah, so the frat parties aren't all cracked up to be. It's just the
Oh,
ratios.
A party's a party.
the ratio,
A party's a party.
I get about, but the college lifestyle is the party lifestyle you see on TV.
Yeah.
like.
Oh, spot on.
It's,
So that's accurate.
It's Tuesday nights are
not
going
blown
off.
up, yeah.
Monday nights are going off. Wednesday nights are going off. Actually, the one day that didn't go off was a Sunday, which I was surprised about.
God,
'cause
that, bro,
so
very
no,
religious.
so no Sunday.
no
sesh.
Sundays, that's foreign.
Is that
Very-
that an Aussie thing to do?
I guess so.
They're very. Are they very Christian in America, or it's like?
I guess so.
I feel like there's probably
Well,
that undertone. Like
go to
Sundays we
church
don't do.
and buddy say hymns.
I think there's like a more percentage than we would think. Is like they got that Christian no Sundays. Don't do things.
I
on-
feel like we don't have that in Australia.
We don't have as much of the I'm strongly this. I think we're
Yeah.
very more closer to the center.
100%. We kind of all follow the crowd.
Yeah.
I feel like
Just
people.
chill.
I feel like in Australia, people are afraid to be themselves and just jump out, and if you want to fucking do something, just do it. And I feel like I think it's because we're so judgmental.
You reckon? I would argue America it's worse. Like
Maybe-
people they will pick a side even if they don't fully believe in it, but they don't want to be left out.
Look, I think it depends.
It's everywhere, but I think
I think it depends where you're based. You look at somewhere like Byron, where they're like, full free hippie, smoke weed type vibe, where they don't give a fuck what you do, and they'll look at you, smile, and walk off and enjoy their day. Versus the city type vibe, where people look at you, pan up and down, and go, "Fuck, those pants don't look good with that suit." You know what I mean? Like people are so judgmental in that perspective, and I feel like as well the fact that if you don't have that bloody perfect model type look in the face and you're not that attractive, it does click as well, and it does give people an extra fucking
Angst.
against you.
Yeah. No, I can see what you mean because you definitely everything you do feel like in certain cultures and certain groups, you'll feel like people are judging me for saying this or doing this. You'll cop criticism for it, and you got to be like unapologetically yourself, which is.
And I think it comes back to how we're talking about mentality with sport, especially with Messi, the bigger players. Mentality comes into play with that as well. Like if you don't give a fuck and you're just happy with yourself, it doesn't matter what part of the world you go to. America, they might accept you a little bit more in that perspective versus the city type vibe of Brisbane. I know it is quite judgmental. If you have that mentality, it doesn't fucking matter where you go. You go and you fucking do whatever you want to do. You get on with your job, do a 9 to 5 job wherever you're going, and you come back home. You go, fuck yeah, I've had a good day. That's about it.
There's something to that. No,
Well, I was gonna say I feel like it's different though because how many soccer teams are in the world? So you could go to as many different there's a lot, whatever the number is. There's a lot.
Millions.
So there's a lot of options. So why wouldn't you then go to the best one?
Because maybe
like they're probably all similar-ish.
Look, if you're a player who's maybe on the edge and he's not doing too well, would it not favour you to go to a club that's not particularly in the best situation and doesn't have the best players to then perceive yourself as a better player than to shine versus somewhere if you were playing for somewhere like Liverpool, where they've already got 3 amazing strikers, and that's the position you're trying to fill. It's going to be really difficult to actually be able to get into that spot versus somewhere like, I'm not going to say A-League because
A-League.
Imagine trying to get a young Mbappe down to A-League, buddy. Not going to happen anytime soon, and I'm sorry that's the case. But
what needs to happen for something like that?
I have no idea if it's even possible because I don't think we have the infrastructure.
Financial problems.
And there are a lot more options for kids in Australia in terms of what sport to go down.
There's too many other sports.
I think there's so many.
You reckon?
I think that's a factor. But in what? What is the pinnacle? Where can you make good money?
We need
rugby. You can make money rugby. You can make money
even rugby union isn't like it's funny. It's funny. It's funny because a lot of private schools create that rugby union culture, and it's only until recent times that they've actually implemented rugby league now into the private boys' schools.
They've actually done that because when I was going through, there was not rugby league.
Only just recently.
Oh, wow.
And I feel like it's because they know for a fact that rugby league is
a
lot. Well, rugby league is a lot more popular. You look at attendance records. Obviously, the Queensland Reds did really well this season, but in previous seasons going before, they were really struggling. Yeah. And if you look at the same thing with A-League, Brisbane Roar, they used to have a contract agreement with Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah.
And
where are they playing at now?
Dolphin Stadium at Redcliffe or something?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, they probably get fairly decent crowds there, but the capacity is so different. I remember back in the day when Raw were actually doing well and the A-League was actually starting to bloom. We were getting 20,000, regularly.
They were good days. I went to the finals back in the day. I was in the crowds,
and the atmosphere was awesome. And you look at it now and it's just... It's not the same.
Well, what's changed over the past? Because it was probably 10 years ago when we were in the finals. Maybe not even. It was probably like 2013.
I think also more access to being able to watch
online,
watch the better leagues.
I agree.
More consistently, so people, instead of going out supporting their local team, can watch a higher standard, a higher quality from home.
Do you reckon that?
I think that's a factor.
No,
I definitely think.
But if you could connect with a team that's your local team, there's an instant connection there. If you know this team's from Brisbane,
I don't think
and they're more reachable.
It's not the same.
If they're more reachable, and you can go watch them, for example, like AFL.
The quality's just so different,
there's a lot of people that will go out and watch a VFL or a QFL game when these are feeder leagues for the AFL, not AFL teams, and there might be 200-300 people that'll go watch this game and just sit at the back of the park to watch.
But the difference is you see that pathway there.
But it's like with Liverpool, they've got the to hype people up. They've got "You Never Walk Alone." You can't compare that to the Central Coast Mariners theme song or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like they've built something.
Yeah, and you can't the history.
No,
maybe
it comes to history.
But the history is huge because everyone who's like a football fan in Australia, they will have a parent, or this is from my experience,
and it's embedded into us.
Yeah, they support an English football team for whatever reason. Growing up, that was like all they had to support. That's their main. Liverpool is like they're a local from there. They support it as if they are. They've picked that European team to follow, and I think there is a huge culture of that, and also because the standard of the football is so much higher than it is here. Just to watch it, it's just a more entertaining product. So it's hard to compete, even though you can go to a game. But are people that fussed on it anymore? Especially like kids, like do they care as much as
No,
they get to 60?
not at all.
They want to stay at home, watch it on their laptop while
EPL.
they play an Xbox at the same time.
I agree.
They want to do 4 different things. I think it's not helping.
I agree.
It's not going to help it grow. I think it's going to be very difficult for Australian
there's
football to get to that level.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't need to be at the La Liga level or the EPL level.
But isn't that what
Look,
you were saying? How can it get to that? To compete,
How can you start getting international signings, or how can you be a place?
You can't.
But we've tried.
At the moment, you can't. Yeah.
We had David Villa. He was playing for
Melbourne City.
Melbourne City.
Yeah, whatever
City.
whatever they were at the time.
And he stayed for about 3 or 4 games, decided he didn't like it, and he ended up going to New York to play.
And that's the thing. MLS is our main competitor with getting those players.
MLS is just on a different level.
Yeah, and that's who they'll go to the MLS, which is a huge drop from their level.
And
But they'll go play there.
they know they'll get paid a lot better as well. And it does come down to capacity, like, viewership, people watching you. Like I would much rather play for a shit club and they're getting 30,000 supporters versus a fairly decent club and maybe 5,000 or 6,000 a game. It's the supporters that make a club. And we've tried to get other bigger players. We even tried bloody Usain Bolt for Central Coast managers back in the day. And he asked for 800,000. And it comes back to the financial problem we have in Australia with A-League. We can't give it to him. You know what? I would have given it to him, even if he's not even that bad.
He would have been a draw for that whole season.
Even if he was shit and he just played on the bench and he came on a couple minutes a game, the amount of money they would have made out of merchandising would have like taken up that that financial problem. And I think they didn't want to take that risk, but it was something that I think was worthwhile.
Yeah, you need a lot of moments like that, I guess, where it's necessarily non-football, but people are going to draw attention. But it's money, it's infrastructure, it's lots of things. I don't think we're anywhere close to being anywhere near that level.
So is soccer dying in Australia then?
I don't think it's dying. I just don't
It's
think...
just not getting anywhere.
Yeah, it's going to stay what it is for a long time. There'll be the diehards who will watch the games.
If you're not growing, you're dying.
Well, in that regard... I don't know the numbers, but I don't think...
Benjamin Button's disease, man.
In Brisbane, it's not growing. In Melbourne, they always get good crowds, so maybe it's different there. But in Brisbane, it is not growing. We sort of the Suncorp deal.
Well, I'm going to pose this to you guys in talking about growing one of the sports in Australia, because basketball struggles a lot too. I think basketball's around the same sort of level as A-League. It does come down to the fact that we don't see it on TV as much. Your prime time sports, AFL, rugby league, you might see 2 or 3 games free to air. With basketball, because we've done so well in the Olympics, and it's the first time in our history that we've actually managed to win a medal, do you feel like it puts us in a better position for the future in terms of, what's it, NBL?
Yeah, NBL, National Basketball League.
NBL. Do you feel like it puts us in a better position?
Yeah, I think...
I was gonna say, guess who signed to the Brooklyn Nets? Patty Mills.
With
Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. They've got Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
Team net worth
Patty
of 300 mil.
Like, this is Juventus. like what point, man? At what point do they run out of money?
Again, they don't. I mean, Patty Mills wouldn't be bringing in
He
the
wouldn't
money.
be paid that much, but it would still be close to like 15, 20 million.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, but I think... And aren't there some NBA players buying into... Chris Middleton or whatever bought into
It's the NBL.
I think it'll need a lot of that.
Yeah.
It can grow, and I think because of the Olympic hype, it might grow a little bit. I don't know. I feel like we have such strong culture. People just watch the NBA after watch basketball instead of watching
Absolutely.
NBL. Why watch the same product? Unless it's live. If people want to go watch it live, which we can't really do at the moment anyway, but people want to watch the best when they have access to it.
What do you think the trick is? If we brought over veterans from the NBA into the NBL versus bringing over your really well-known commentators and they start commentating the NBL, do you feel like viewership will be brought forward by commentators or by veterans?
That's an interesting point because there are commentators, I haven't either, but there are commentators I love to listen watch football.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that could have an impact if people watch it.
I
think that could definitely be an avenue. I wonder why they've never even thought to do that.
Well, you look at WWE and I can't remember, but old mate, he goes, "Let's get ready to rumble." Is that WWE?
No, that's boxing.
That's boxing. Yeah,
that tells
Bruce
you.
Buffer is the UFC guy.
That tells you that tells me knowledge of UFC. But he's got such a distinguished voice that no one could replicate that. You know, if you had him and you bring him into the NBL, I reckon instantly you get like a mass amount of viewership that you never had before.
And I think that's where you get the outside viewership from, not just the country.
Yeah.
Like people who notice, like, oh, we watch this one now. Like, this is good. That's an interesting point. Because the commentators, they're the ones you're connecting with when you're watching the sport.
True,
Like,
exactly.
if you don't know necessarily what's going on, they're the ones telling you, talking you through it. That's what I love about the NFL. Like, I got into that about 5-6 years ago. And I would watch it with the commentary. I'd watch the full games instead of the option to watch it fast-forwarded. Because I wanted to learn about the game. And there are commentators that you like to listen to. And I would just watch games because I'm like, oh, he's commentating on that. I'm going to watch that game. Because you learn a lot and that they're interesting. And that's your direct connection. I think that's definitely an avenue to go down. That could... I wonder why they haven't. It might also be very hard to get one of those elite commentators to come retire in Australia.
Well, Bruce McAvaney's been commentating the Olympics, and it's been good to listen to him.
I love him. He's the
phenomenal.
best. He's the best.
He sounds like he's about to cream his pants every
loves
time. Oh, yes. Oh, keep going. Oh, look at him go. He's getting
Exactly
up. He's
the
running. Oh, he's over the line. Let's go.
That's the energy I want. He's amazing. His breakdowns.
He's passionate.
He talks about every single event. He's an expert at every event. I don't even know if that's true, but he is.
But
I believe he is.
But that's the thing. He's such a distinguished commentator that obviously he's really well known in AFL and the Melbourne Cup and now Olympics. You get someone like that who's got this resume of commentary and bring it into the NBL. I feel like it would make it a better sport for the long run.
I would tune in just to listen to him.
Imagine,
at least one game.
Imagine Bruce McAvaney, buddy, the
Calling.
NBL, mate.
He would have been called the Olympic game, surely.
Oh, another 3-pointer. Oh, let's go.
Actually, was he? I don't know.
I don't know. I actually don't know. There was a guy and a girl. I think it might have been Adam Bogut.
Bogut, yeah.
Yeah, and then I can't remember the other commentator, but
Well, that's the thing, because you do need specific sports-based knowledge.
Bruce
McAvaney seemed to have it for a lot of...
There's a play-by-play guy, and then there's a colour guy in most commentaries. The play-by-play guy they just have to know what's going on in terms of this is happening. The colour guy gives the analysis. That's like the breakdown of most crews. And usually the colour guy is like an ex-player. Or in America, that's exactly how they do it. So ex-quarterback and just, a medium like...
So Stephen A... Matt Kellerman. Is it Matt Kellerman?
They're
what sort of...
They're pundits.
Are these NBL commentary?
These are the American,
NFL.
the Sports Center guys. This is
Right.
NFL, sorry.
Yeah.
It's American football now. Who probably do sport the best in terms of ability
They
to
got
watch it and
fantastic
their
coverage.
freaking the clips they come out with and everything. They do it the best, but there's always a color guy.
Stephen A., just for context, one of ESPN's commentators, he's get paid $7 million a year.
Just to get his beautiful
Is he-
voice out there.
He's a personality. Like he's got his shows. He's throwing out his opinions. Like
Yeah.
this top 5 of the NBA. Like
Yeah. You
they
choke
love a
on his
list.
opinions.
They love a list.
We
Everything
all
is a
love
list. Oh,
I went for a list. I was like giving you a power ranking of the sports. I love a list.
Well, look
Why?
at buddy Joe Rogan. He started his own podcast series up, and obviously that blew up, and he's getting buddy. What's his name? Oh mate, who smokes his weed and the Tesla bloke.
Elon Musk,
yeah.
He's getting blokes with massive egos on the show, and he's doing an incredible job. And now he's got a contract with UFC doing the
Fighting.
fighting.
I think he gets paid around $100K to call a UFC fight.
Yeah, he's been doing that forever since before the podcast. I think.
Oh, really? Is that how he
Yeah,
started?
like
That-
95.
Like
I
he
think
literally
it
was doing it for free when he started out. He was doing that. He was doing stand-up comedy,
and then he made a name for himself.
started doing a podcast.
He said he wouldn't tell people that he was a UFC commentator. Like, that's how early he was doing it.
Yeah,
Because
Wow.
UFC wasn't cool.
Yeah,
Like, you don't
UFC
want to
was
tell
brutal.
people.
Ah,
Yeah.
cage fighting. But yeah, that's an example of power rankings
What's-
a podcast.
so there was a tier. There was UFC, boxing, and WWE.
What do you mean by that?
You're saying that UFC wasn't so.
Oh,
well
no,
known?
people didn't like
just
it. They thought it was
wasn't
too
popular.
brutal.
Yeah.
Right.
Because back in the day, you could like kick in the balls. You could do everything but poke their eyes.
and things are
Yeah,
a
you
bit
could
more
like kick their
restricted
heads
now.
while they're on the ground.
Rip their hair out, but
Yeah.
just...
And it was just a
protect
bit
the
too
eyes.
brutal. So they slowly adapted it to try and make it. You can't kick people out on the ground. There are certain punches.
Probably
Don't kick him in the
probably
ball.
not worth gouging the eyes out.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I feel
Can
like
you
that.
hammer punch in UFC?
Not while they're on the ground. I think
Hammer punch.
standing up, you can't hit the back of the head. I think so.
Yeah.
There's not much to it though. Like you gotta hurt more doing.
Yeah.
Doing the
Don't
619.
mind too. Yeah. Oh, bring Bray Mysterio into the
Worker,
UFC.
worker.
Oh,
But I feel like that's sport in a whole now. It's following the whole political incorrectness thing. Like political correctness, I feel like there is a political correctness side of sport, like where people don't want to see the violent side. You know, looking what's it? The state of origin. There's next to no fight,
biff.
next to no biffs
Yeah.
Get rid of
anymore.
the biff.
AFL, any high tackles reportable, 2-week suspension if possible. Even more. UFC, there's now restrictions. I feel like people are weaning away from that violent side of sport.
It's the head injuries, I think.
Ice
Isn't
hockey is the one sport that hasn't.
it? UFC too. Like UFC
but
as a non-fighting
yeah.
sport, I get what you
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Is ice hockey brutal still? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it is.
I imagine they still have like
No,
regulated fights, don't they, in the middle of
It's
games?
yeah, it's beautiful. I
So
went to
good.
watch a game when I was in Canada, and it's beautiful to watch because it's a mutual agreement. Oh, we've got an issue. Well, let's fight about it. Take your gloves off when you're ready. I'll
let's
take my
fucking-
gloves
let's
off
sort it out
when
like
we're
a
ready.
man.
We'll go. but they're waiting on each other. It's like, oh, now your gloves are off. Let's go. And then because you're fighting, you get sin binned, and then they'll be talking in the sin bin. You can see them talking to each other, and then 5 minutes is up,
Better Russell.
and then they've decided, do we come back out and fight again? Or should we just get on with the game? And sometimes they come back over and start fighting again after the sim bin. But it's organized. And if there's an agreement, it's weird because there's so much respect. Because if you didn't want to do it, and I did, we wouldn't do it.
True.
Yeah, it's
know
a funny sport.
And the ref can't get involved until someone goes to the
Oh,
ground,
well.
and then the ref will stop it.
That is gold, mate.
Yeah,
that's gold, mate. I'm gonna challenge this, and you know, obviously you like your soccer. You're a soccer fan.
Not really.
Not really.
You're a-
Watch the occasional soccer
Probably
game?
not. No.
What's your sport? NBA is the only one I've heard you talk about watching.
That's probably it. Hey, yeah.
Literally the only one I've heard that's an organised sport.
And I'm sure there'll be people listening and that probably follow soccer as well, because of obviously EPL is such a massive sport to follow. English Premier League. Do you think soccer is softened away? Because I feel like historically, it's gotten softer and softer over time with regards to penalties. You know, I could do this to you, and then you're reacting like as if your arm's about to fall.
Careful, bro.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like you're reacting like as if your arm's about to fall off. They draw the penalties.
Compared to other sports, I think that's also a factor into why it'll never get that big, like fully, or reach its full potential in Australia.
Yeah,
Because I think there are too many like,
Australians don't like it.
why the fuck you going to the ground? Why
Yeah.
don't you stay up? Why are you
Oh,
diving?
you're so soft.
When I played it, like every time when I would introduce myself to someone, if it came up and played football, like
You
I
fall
gotta
over.
fall to the ground. Like literally every single person who wasn't a football fan, it's got that stigma.
Yeah.
But that stigma is so justified because at any contact,
Penalties.
you'll fall to the ground. And I think that's what holds it. That's what holds it back.
Well, the refs know it's going to happen. It's,
they
it's
give
like
it,
it's
yeah.
like embedded
It's
in
part of the
It's
game.
embedded in the rules now.
It's like gamesmanship. It's like, well, this is it. If you touch me, I'm going down. The ref knows it's going to happen. He'll give me the penalty for it if you've touched me. I think in terms of some of the other sports, yeah, it's a lot softer than rugby. It's a lot softer than a lot of other
Does that
sports.
make it hard to watch?
No. Everything
because
else
you
about
get-
it,
you
it's
get
not
used-
about
You get
it.
used to it.
It's not meant to be brutal. It's
You
meant to
used-
be beautiful. In a cliche
It's
way.
absolutely majestic,
It's
mate.
beautiful, mate. Oh, succulent finish. Yeah.
Please don't cream yourself, mate. We're on.
Yeah.
We're recording, mate.
It's more than just football, bro. It's life. Anyway.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll let you finish your moment in your
Yeah,
pants,
thank
and
you.
we'll wrap up the episode. Thanks for
great.
tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. Thanks, guys. Catch up.
Ciao.
Let's go.